By far my favorite station.
You're the best. Oh, yeah.
I love you guys.
This is UK Talk Radio, with the music you love and the chat you enjoy.
By far my favorite station.
You're the best. Oh, yeah.
I love you guys.
It's time right now on UK Talk Radio to turn the spotlight on an awesome book which will shine great insights on the power of nutrition, bodybuilding and steroids. It's written by Jonathan Wright and the book is called Sculpting Strength. Jonathan's been on this journey for many years, so he brings great insights to bear in the book. So, Jonathan, if I can ask you first of all, your book is called Sculpting Strength. Tell us why you wrote it.
I wrote this book because a lot of people ask me about bodybuilding, nutrition, and stuff like that all the time. And honestly, I got sick of answering all the questions. So I figured if I wrote a book, maybe I could make some money off it, you know? Basically.
That sounds like a great idea to write a book. I like it. That's a good motivation.
Well, when I started out, I was like 14 years old, started lifting weights, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of confused, like Joe Biden trying to get off the stage. You know, I really didn't know what I was doing. So I figured, and I actually, believe it or not, before I started bodybuilding, I became a personal trainer first,
yes,
which was a good deal. But, you know, I made so many mistakes in my life as far as that was concerned. I figured I better write a book about it. You know?
We read your book. What would you like us to gain from reading it? What are the insights that we're going to get?
Well, you're going to get some knowledge out of it no matter what. If you're advanced or you're a beginner, you're going to get knowledge. I put a lot of stuff in there, but I didn't make it too overly complex to where beginners can get everything out of it. But, you know, somebody that's a professional bodybuilder could get stuff out of it. I put a lot of science in there too. So basically, you want to start with a plan. You know, you don't want to just go into the gym, not know what you're doing, because there's so many myths out there, especially about weight loss. I mean, you could look at 3 a.m. on TV and there's all these ab commercials, 7-minute abs, and you can't do abs and lose fat on your stomach. That's a misconception. You can't spot reduce fat. So there's just so many different myths out there. Steroids, for instance, you know, it makes your penis small. That's the opposite. It does the opposite. You know? But, you know, there's just so many myths out there. I just wanted to get all that information out there.
You're right, because personal health training, there's so much stuff online, but as you say, it's all contradictory, it's all quite confusing, and a lot of your work then is based on your own personal experiences, which I like about the book. You're actually bringing your personal experiences to it.
Right, yeah, and everything in there is absolutely true. There's no fault. And for the supplements, I own a supplement company called Minotaur Nutrition, but I'm not really touting that in the book at all. But I do everything that I mentioned in there. There's supplements that actually are scientifically proven to work. I don't sell, like, you know, sugar pills in a bottle where, you know, oh yeah, it's going to make your hair come. No, it's not crap, you know. So it's all real information from somebody that's actually gone through it in the past, you know.
Yeah, and Jonathan, you're right, because there are, especially around about supplements, you know, there are so many out there that actually aren't doing what they claim to do, and often they're quite expensive as well. It's not as if they're going to be very cheap, and you're putting that into your body. You want to be sure that what goes into your body is going to be the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of the supplements, the more costly they are, sometimes the least effective they are. They'll boost the price up to be like, oh, well, it's $80 a bottle. It's got to be good. You know, so people jump all over it and it's really crap. But yeah, there's no supplements, or there's really not that much. The FDA doesn't approve those or anything. You could come out with whatever supplement you really want to, as long as you put certain things on the label, you know, and it's legal, you can sell it. It's kind of messed up, actually.
And what about steroids? Because you talk about steroids in the book. And again, this is an area where there's a lot of misinformation. So tell us a little bit about steroids.
Well, I started taking steroids when I was about 22, when I was in the Navy. And I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was cramming a bunch of stuff into my body, not knowing. So the thing is people are going to take steroids whether you like it or not. You can tell them not to take it. You can ban the substance, but somebody's going to find it and somebody's going to take it. So why not educate them a little bit about it?
Yeah.
You know, because really they're not bad for you at all. But that's a misconception too. You just have to do it in moderation. You know, but you know, the problem is you got to do a lot of research before you do that stuff. Just don't cram stuff into your body that you don't know about. especially if you have liver or heart problems. You do not want to mess with them,
Yep.
But it is good to go to a doctor before you do anything like that.
That's a great suggestion, and you don't often hear that. That's a good idea. And you mentioned, obviously, and there is a lot of misinformation. That's a good point that you mentioned there, not to overdo it, because I can imagine that when somebody first starts going to the gym, starts taking steroids, the thing is almost immediately they want a massive, great body in 2 weeks, and maybe the temptation is to go crazy.
Yeah, and well, they also think more is better. Everything, especially Americans, you know how it is. We think more is better. It's not. Look at Texas. Everybody's fat there. For a reason. They think bigger is better. So they make these huge cheeseburgers and crap like that. And they finish them. It's I don't know how you finish that thing, but
It's very true.
it is. Yeah, we try to do everything big here. But
Yes. Yeah.
putting drugs in your body is really not the thing you want to go big on. But we do
Yes.
it. Look at California. There's
Yes.
drug addicts walking all over the place.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's
And
just
you
crazy.
mentioned nutrition. Well, we're talking, and let's talk about nutrition. And there is, I mean, it's not just in the US. I mean, it's very prevalent. Fast food is prevalent in the UK as well. So it's not just in your country. So how do we steer clear of those kind of fast foods and get ourselves to the good nutrition that's going to make our bodies feel good, and therefore our minds are going to feel good.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you have to plan everything out. That's the problem. That's why people don't do this. They don't go to the store. They don't buy because you have to meal prep all your stuff, and
Mm.
people don't want to cook. They don't have time. Some of the people that I work with, we travel around the world. I was in England last year, actually twice. Sorry, what was it? Ipswich at a
Yep.
nuclear power plant. But anyway, for instance, over there, food was great, bangers and mash and all that stuff. But we had a trouble, making our meals because we didn't have much time, So timing is everything. If you have the time, go out and prep your meals, but you got to do some research on what you need to eat. You can't just think that something's good for you and it's not.
Yes. I mean, and that's a good point, isn't it? And I guess that's also another point that you've mentioned, that a lot of us have busy lifestyles, but that doesn't mean that we can't care about our bodies and take that little bit of time. It's interesting, isn't it? We will spend time sometimes on trivial things, and yet things like our own meals, we'll go for a fast food meal, or we'll have something which is very quick to do, but actually it's not good for us. It's sometimes we don't care enough about our health.
Right. But you'll spend an hour on Facebook, looking at memes about Joe Biden, but you can't
Yes.
meal prep a good healthy meal to put inside your body. It's priorities are weird, it is.
I suppose, do you think some of it is about habits? So in other words, we've got to form new habits so that we can actually change our lives and obviously see these great improvements by just, I guess it's a habit is required, isn't it, really, from what you're saying, a change of habits?
Right. Yeah. Like alcoholism, you got to make it like kind of a habit. You got to become addicted to it. You got to change one habit for another sometimes. Like I used to drink really heavily, but what I'll do is I switch my habit. Boom, bodybuilding. Boom, I'm in there. Now my habit is just getting big. You have to change
Yes.
your way of thinking up to get to where you need to go.
And for yourself, how long would you say in average, how often should we work out during the course of a week?
Well, it depends on what your goal is. See, so for bodybuilding purposes, I'd only work out 4 hours a week total,
Wow.
max. Yeah, you only need about 40 minutes per body group in the gym,
Yes.
and then you're done. So,
Wow.
chest and triceps. Next day you do back and biceps. Then you take a day off. And these are 40-minute workouts. Then you go back in, you do legs. Next day you go in and do shoulders. Then you take a day off and you repeat. But if you're somebody that's trying to be a long distance runner, you have to run every day.
Yes.
So it's all dependent upon what you're going for.
That makes sense. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and you've covered all the areas that are in your book, the nutrition, you've talked about going to the gym. The most important thing now, where can we find your book? How can we purchase?
Oh, you can get it anywhere online. Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Amazon.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and some fantastic insights. And of course, we can gain better insights by reading the book itself. It's called Sculpting Strength, Unveiling the Power of Nutrition, Bodybuilding and Steroids. And today I've been talking to Jonathan Wright. And as Jonathan mentioned, this fantastic book is available from Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and many other great sources online. Simply tap in Sculpting Strength by Jonathan Wright.